Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wizzo Talk. Got something exciting lined up for you before we meet our guests. I'd just like you to remember it is always absolutely free, 100% free to like, share, and subscribe. Those of you who've already subscribed to my channel, I appreciate your support. Those of you who look to subscribe in the future, I'll be looking forward to it and also appreciate your support. We're going to meet our guests, and normally I say we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes, but I'm not going to say that this time. We're going to meet our guests and we're going to get right up into some gardening. Y'all stick around. What you got, Miss Erica?
Hey y'all, my name is Erica Plans. I am known as Gardening Under Influence on all platforms. You can find me on all platforms under that alias. You can also find me at plantandheal.com, like Netflix and chill. You're going to plant something, you're going to heal something. And that's Plant and Heal. I sell seed starts, plant starts, seeds, vegetables, and fruit trees. And soon we'll be accepting SNAP. And what I do at my location and my establishment is teach you how to grow with what you got. Thank you.
All right. Seb, what you got?
Yo, more bliss, more life. This your boy 7 Points of Bliss, man. It's an honor to be here yet again. If you guys want to check me out, I'm Cosmic Currency 777 on Spotify and on every other platform. I'm After Real Truth. If you want to check out some of my art, it's about high vibrational healing and just the knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? Really try to get the knowledge out here to the people so they can understand some things, man. And thank you for having me yet again, brother.
All
Yes.
right, all right. Appreciate it. I have to say this. This is my family right here, and I'll be following her page and be watching. And I'm telling you, man, she could grow anything. Boy, I've told her, I said, "Cuz you can grow it." She be picking and eating out the garden. I'll be like, "Shit, I'm gonna get me something, a bucket or something." Shit, cuz I just like to start out with just ask you. So, what made you get off into growing your own food?
I got home to grow my own food listening to my mama and talking about how in Temple they used to walk from neighborhood to neighborhood, eat persimmons and pecans and mulberries and catch crawfish, and how her uncle and her stepfather had a garden in the backyard. And what I realized is I heard those statements versus, oh well, cancer and everything, and cancer is killing you, and everything was that you knew Mr. Johnny and you knew Miss Susie who grew your sweet potatoes, and you knew who grew your yams and everything else, and your collard greens and all. And for those reasons, the food was more local. And so something in it kept making me say, I'm gonna grow me a garden. I'm gonna grow me a garden. I had a wounded warrior as a husband and a son with ADHD, and I got ADHD and autism. And I realized that it was the food. And as I started growing, I realized it was always the food. And so for those reasons, it just kept me going in it.
Okay. Seem like we having just a little bit of a lag or something like that going in and fading. It may be my net or something like that, but I heard what you were saying. So, Seb, you got something for?
Man, I just want to say it's beautiful that you realize that it was the food. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize that it's just everything together. Like it's the water too and all that. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you was just inspired to grow your own food from the stories of the elders. You know what I'm saying? It's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, outstanding. And cause Seven he was on one here one time and he said something to the fact if the bugs ain't on it,
You don't
what'd you
want
say, Seven?
I don't want it. I
exactly.
saw that clip. And I was like, man, if he don't understand, nobody does. Because if the bugs have an innate sense of knowing what's in the way that we've been desensitized. We've seen the videos, we've seen the food, we've seen the scientific studies of things
I
like
am.
McDonald's. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Am I back? Am I lagging still?
Yeah. You back? We back. We just having some internet trouble, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I'm
go
on
ahead.
Wi-Fi and it's got full bars. Okay, so it said basically, like when I look at all these scientific studies, we see all these things. I'm a teacher by my default, HR and teacher, and so as an educator, I would see where they would show, hey, this is a burger from McDonald's. The kids didn't touch this. 6 years later, it ain't molded, it ain't aged, and anything else. And we saw these things. We saw it on these smartphones. We saw it on social media and everything else. And yet we still pull up to those places and eat.
Right.
And a bug has this innate sense to know, in a way that we don't, that because they're not desensitized, that if it's not good, we out. And so if the bugs don't want it, I don't want it either. Because anything without no bug holes gives me a different sign than anybody will want to know. And I know we think, oh, it's got bug holes in it, I don't want it. But count me out. Because they got an innate sense where they're not desensitized in the same level as us, and count me out, period.
All right, all right. For the guests that's watching and viewers that's tapping in, we talking about gardening made easy with
Yeah.
Erica Plants, and that's just how it is. So I know that you own your own business. So before you started your own business, how much gardening experience did you have?
I had none. I started gardening in 2019. I never knew nothing about gardening. All my mama had was an ivy. And even then, she didn't always have an ivy. And then she calls it an ivy, but it's really called a pothos. It's the old school granny plant everybody got. They put it in water, it runs around the vines, and it runs around the wild house. And there was nothing else. But that's all I knew about gardening, period. And I knew it grew in low lights. But when I started on desperation. I started on, there's got to be a solution. And I started on, I ain't got no monster steward money to make a pretty garden. And in that process, I learned that ugly gardens grow beautiful food, right? Lowe's had a little discount, and they had a little sale where they had, well, it wasn't even a sale. It was a special. They asked for text messages, and you could text message them, and you could win from $5 to $500. All you had to do was text the number, text your phone number to them at this little code, and they respond back. And halfway through the day, as I heard people on social media say, hey, I only got $5, I only got $10 or whatever, it clicked to me. This is the day I'm going to start this garden. I've been saying it forever, but I never started it. And so I was like, halfway through the day, I was like, hey, if you're not going to Lowe's, because you have to spend it that exact same day of the text. If you're not going to Lowe's, go ahead and send me your code. And if you're not going to Lowe's, go ahead and apply for this code. And once you get this code, send it to me. And I used every one of those codes. And I walked in there with $150 of buying bags of soil one at a time, plant starts and everything else, and seeds. And I started my garden that way.
Boy. Seb, what you think about that?
I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing, bro. Just listen to her speak about the journey of her wanting to start it and how she got it started. It seemed like it was just divine intervention. Everything came at once, and it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Definitely did that thing. So so then walk us through like the process of growing your own food. I mean, how do you
It's not as hard as you think. So I started off with no knowledge. I wasn't on YouTube University. I was definitely not Sigma Cum Laude. I had not hit the peer-reviewed journals, which I've hit now because I'm autistic and ADHD. And so hyper-focus and hyperfixation is different for me. But it started off with just planting the seeds, literally, the same way that I've been planting the seeds in others. And so I just buried the seeds. I had no idea. And when stuff started spreading, it was like, yo, wait, this is real. I didn't know how to build a garden. I didn't know how to build anything else. And when I got to the wood part of the garden, and they told me all these technical things about like chemical treating and everything else, like, oh, I'm in too deep. So I got me a swimming pool. I got me an inflated swimming pool, and I started there. And I didn't realize how much soil you needed to grow things. But in that first year of growing and also adopting a dog, I realized, although we make it seem like it's hard, it's not that hard to grow food. It's not that hard to learn these life skills. They have alienated us on purpose. It is part of the system, in the same way they don't teach growing in schools, in the same way they don't teach you accounting or anything else in schools, because the whole idea is to live on dependency sometimes in America, I've learned. And so, yeah, it was an eye-opening experience, and my dog taught me the most, because I bought this whole survival kit from Amazon, and he chewed up all these foil packets, and then he just spit them out, whatever. He didn't even poop them out. He just spit them out. And y'all, stuff just grew in my grass, and I was just like, he demystified everything else about it for me. I was growing asparagus and pumpkins in my grass because he just chewed up seeds and threw them guys out. And from there, it's Y'all, we think we need a green thumb, but it's just like learning how to drive. It's just like anything else. You learn your best lessons from mistakes and learning on the job. So it's on the job training. People like, oh, I ain't got no green thumb. No, you just are giving yourself too hard of a success rate that you will just never have. And this dog was just growing stuff in my grass without any soil or anything else. And that just opened my mind up to so much more.
Yeah. So the dog just opened them up, spit them out, and then next thing you know, things is growing.
Things are just growing.
It's definitely studies that show that when you get seeds, if you suck on them or let them sit in your mouth for like 10 to 15 minutes, right? The seeds are supercharged and your saliva actually implants your DNA into the seeds. And when you plant the seeds, not only are they going to grow faster, but they're actually going to give you the minerals that your body are lacking.
Unfortunately, that is not true, and that's false based on peer-reviewed journals and every other study. That is just something that we've created as a folktale. There's no way that your DNA could go into a soil and the seed. And
no, it goes into the seed. Don't go into the soil, but
into the seed, it's just not it's lacking. That's not true.
It's proven that it's DNA in the soil through mitochondrial DNA.
Mitochondrial DNA would be there through mycorrhizae, but unfortunately, that is not factual. And you'd have to show me a peer-reviewed journal to tell me that.
Oh, all right, I got you.
Well, all righty then. Well,
I like that.
Well, all righty then. Well, I will tell you this right here. What I do know and what I've seen from you when I follow you is you have them greens and you be having them fruit and vegetables and shit. And I'll be like, man, look at here. You're eating the strawberries right off the vine.
Right.
And I just know that it's just organic. And we talked about organic before. And sometimes I wonder, and maybe you can help me in the store when I see something says organic. I mean, can I trust that it is?
Now, in 2024, you can trust that it's truly organic because it's through the USDA. And although, so we're clear, the USDA's grounding is shaky. Unfortunately, before we had Food Lion and Winn-Dixie and Walmart just accrediting a farmer as USDA organic, and they would just put a stamp on it regardless so that it would be cute and sell. The USDA realized how dangerous that was. And so in late 2023, they changed the whole parameters of it. So now it has to say USDA organic for it to be organic, because the seed both needs to be organic, not hybrid. It needs to be an heirloom, not a hybrid. It needs to be open pollinated, not a hybrid. And also that it needs to be certified from them that you are not using poor practices to do it. And so don't get me wrong, those practices will still include sometimes if you do a potato that's organic with bleach on it, but overall that the practices are more in line with what the EPA would consider organic.
Man, you talking like you've been gardening for about 20, 30 years and you ain't even that old.
5 years.
She got it, though, knowledge.
I'm telling you, and we Seven and I, we had a podcast a while back, and that wasn't the topic, but the information and the knowledge is out there, and it seems like you definitely got it and retained it, and you own your shit. So let me ask you this then. So what are some of the ups and downs about growing our own food? Struggles or that you may have in there.
Okay, so the main struggle is one size does not fit all. This is just like parenting. Every kid is completely different. And Cousin Paul, you know that is true. How you chastise or correct one person ain't gonna be how you correct the next one. Like, so my son is one of those where if I gotta correct him, he needs just as much positive as balances. I can eat him up on everything he messed up on. But if I don't ever hit him with what he did good, I'm out of luck. And it's the same thing with your gardening. So every garden has a strength and it has a weakness, right? And we have to understand that even though you could be 20 feet from me at the next house over, that your garden will not be the same as mine if you have like a raised bed, or if you're growing in the ground, or if you got a pool in your backyard, or the pond closer to your house. Those are all microclimates. And so those kind of things right there is the biggest curve to gardening. And also that we go with what we feel. It's just what it is, culturally, historically, and what we know. And so it's a matter of a combo of what you feel, what you know, and then just testing it out for yourself for what works in your area.
All right then. All right. Seb, you got something on there for her?
I mean, she right though, man. Because honestly, I didn't even know that you can grow pomegranates in Texas until I came
Yeah.
out here, and people have pomegranate trees and pear trees, and like she was saying before, the elder was saying crawfish. I had to go out to the country and have one of my homeboys, and there were holes in the ground. I'm like, what are
Yeah.
these
You
holes?
start a little TP.
Right, and
Yeah.
he said it was crawfish. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I didn't even know that this type of stuff was out here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then I seen fig trees, and like she's saying the nut trees. It's all type of. It's
It's all
beautiful, bro.
type of stuff.
Because you
Like
can't
Central
grow that stuff
Texas
in
is a
Chicago.
plug. Like you can grow so much more in the zone 8B, not even just in Central Texas, but like Seattle, South Georgia, Central Texas, all these places they have this same zone based on the frost of when it
Right.
starts and when it ends. You have no idea of
Right.
the beauty of your area.
Well, I tell you, I know coming up, me and my brother and I, we used to walk on the way going to the boys club, and we used to raid this pomegranate tree. We saw a pear tree. I mean, man, you talking about good? We knocked them things on out, you know. So, and they're so, and now, but when you go in the store, I see an apple the size of a damn near a basketball, and I know it. This is not shouldn't be like that. So they got something going in that fruit. You know, it's not normal to see the apples and stuff like that big.
Well, it also depends on the variety, where it's grown, and what inputs. But most of those things are not grown naturally. They have nitrogen inputs, which we will see because the price of food is going up so much. The price of food is going up so much because Ukraine and Russia are where we get most of our nitrogen from, and that's where the war is. So if the bread basket is having problems, and that sourced 70% of the wheat in the crops of this nation, of the world, and also the nitrogen of the world, then everything else will grow up. So it's not necessarily though that the food is GMO or fake, but it is extra inputs put into it, definitely.
Right. All right. Look like I don't know if you see one of our questions or someone that put up. Can you see it, or you want me to read it, or can you see it?
Yeah. Does it actually say? It definitely says for every dollar you put into growing your own food, right? You save $25. For that reason, that my company, Plant and Heal Co., which is out of Midway, Georgia, and we will be accepting SNAP soon. For every dollar, even for SNAP dollars, for every dollar that you input into growing food, right, you make and save $25 per thing. If you think about it, a bag of apples costs you $5. But if you were to plant an apple tree, which from Walmart even costs you only $10 to $15, you could have apples for every year, and you would get more than a bag of apples in just one season.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that tree and answered our guest, our viewer question, because I watched one of the videos and you were showing how the tree is dead and how it's alive
Yeah.
by going in there and talk about that for a minute.
Okay, so when you get a bare root tree, so if you want to start a bare root trees mean that the roots are dormant right now. It doesn't mean that they're dead. They're just dormant, and they just need to hit the soil or get a little warmth and wake up. And so with a bare root tree, though, you want to make sure that it's still alive, because what we have to understand is those trees have been cut in like October, November, packaged up, and then shipped to a store in like December and January. And then they're sitting in the truck for a few days, a few weeks. And then they're brought out into the storefront because you need it everywhere. One, that doesn't mean that that tree will grow in your area. It's just something that they put across the nation. So you want to check before you purchase it that it will be fine in your area. It won't be susceptible to disease or anything else. But two, you want to scratch that guy and make sure it's got green under it, or at least some leaves that are starting to branch. That gives you a significance that it is alive. Because what else is there than watering dead roots? That's like being in a poor relationship where you watering stuff and nurturing it and ain't nobody else participating. And that's what you want to make sure you're avoiding with your roots.
Right, right. Outstanding. Boy, look at that. How many years you say you've been doing this?
This is my 5th year growing. I got a quarter
All
million
right. Well,
followers, but it's my 5th year growing, and I got them like last year for the most part. When the last 2 or 3 years for the most part, yeah.
right, right. Everyone out there, we talking about gardening made easy with Erica
Yeah.
Plants. Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. So tell me. So I have my swimming pool. Since you mentioned the swimming pool, I have it filled with what? And then how often do I water? So what do I
So
fill my swimming pool with? Just regular dirt or what?
you could put it in regular dirt. You could, like, so dirt is soil, right? Living soil though has all these extra benefits. Even the soil that you get out your backyard has all these extra benefits. So the question then first is, and we're gonna cut the bottom off the swimming pool where we put so much soil at the top and let it establish below the roots of where the real grow works in. Or are we gonna rely wholly on that soil? And I know people think that clay soil is such a bad thing, but baby, if clay was that bad in the South, we wouldn't have never got enslaved in the diaspora here. Okay, make sure you never forget that. And they was growing cotton and everything else right here in this clay, and so it's the same thing for us. But if you put it in the swimming pool, you want to make sure that you water it when you notice that it's dry. And if you don't do that, then that you at least got the bottom cut off where it can go deeper into the ground and seek out those roots that it needs to get the nourishment and the benefits that it's got. But yeah, growing a swimming pool is a beautiful thing because it's a controlled environment. And so if you want to get a few bags of soil, feed it well and established, just like with your kids, sometimes you can fall off at the end. But if you started off with a great foundation, that kid should be solid. You get what I'm saying? And it's the same thing for your plants.
All right. Seb, you got something to add? Because I don't want to be taking up all. So just jump on in there. You know how we do it.
What kind of soil would you recommend? Is it different soil for different types of plants? I know different
There
plants.
are different soils for different types of plants. So you have certain soils that are alkaline and certain soils that are acidic. Um, Even if you don't want to get separate different soils, the most by scientific studies and peer-reviewed journals is most consistent when you can get is Stay Green. And you can get that both at Lowe's and Home Depot. And where you can get that, it will get 2 cubic units. You pay like $8. So you get each one for $4, which is actually reasonable because your Miracle Grow, which is really bad soil, and I'm gonna say that on record. Miracle Grow, which is by Monsanto, which is now known as Bayer, which is now out of Germany and not America, from Auschwitz and all. They are imbalanced. It gives you a high nutrient, nitrogen, which makes you get that faux success rate, but it also leaves you susceptible to more pests and more issues in the end. And so it's that fake thing. It's almost like getting a quick weave, you know what I mean, instead of growing the hair out your scalp. And so with the Stay Green, though, it's a stabilized one. I used to recommend Jungle Grow if you followed my old videos. And Jungle Grow is a great one too, and they will say that it's Master Gardener certified, and it is. It's got everything that it needs. However, the catch is it's way heavier and it's super alkaline. And so there are certain vegetables that need acidic soil, and there's certain vegetables that need your more alkaline soil. But your Stay Green is very balanced, and you can get everything you need out of it, and it's the most affordable, and you can get it at both Lowe's and Home Depot.
Thank you.
Goodness gracious. Woo. I mean, everything you just said. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just saying, I said thank you, man. I definitely trying to get some seeds from your website, so I just want to know what's gonna work best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and my seeds from my website are specialized for short harvest and small growing areas. So whether you got a big yard, a small yard, or whatever, like I said, we teach you how to grow with what you got. So even if you got a little patio, balcony, or a bedroom with a grow tent, we got something for you to grow with for that reason. Because if shit ever hits the fan, I don't know if I can curse on here, but if stuff ever hits the fan, right? Then you need to know that you still got something and a sustainability about it. We saw C-19. They showed out in grocery stores, and they didn't give everybody enough time between their regular civilian jobs and all to get to a grocery store. And if you were able to get to a grocery store, it wasn't there as necessarily when you got there, depending on where you were and what people needed. And so with this, you get that ability. But more than that, I'm always been a youth advocate. I taught University of Georgia Cooperative Extension for over 10 years. I am a teacher by heart in HR. And so for those reasons, everything I do is about the kids. But I need you to teach those and learn those life skills so that you can implement it and teach it to your kids of the importance. And so for those reasons, definitely get what you got and learn how to grow with it.
Right. So now I know you have like I think you said a quarter million followers and all. So how many or do you know about the women and people of color that's doing what you're doing and growing their own? Because I've started following some, especially after you made the post, and I forgot what it said about sharing and something like that or whatever. And then I started seeing some more, and I've seen some that you follow. So about how many, you know?
It's so many more of us. So in 1914, we were 14% of the community. Black farmers were 14% of the community. 2008, we were 1.4% because of the Homestead Act and all these other things. Although the federal government the whole time acknowledged that we were discriminated on and oppressed and stopped, what they miss is no matter what laws you implement on the local level, that the racism still exists, and that is a person who issues out the money. And
Right.
so right now we have a return to the soil. We are learning again that soil is finite. Soil is not like money. You cannot create anymore. Once it is done, it is done. Once it is over, it is over. And therefore, the average white farmer is 60 years old and the average black farmer is 68. But at this moment, we have this movement of people realizing, A, the soil is finite. B, I don't trust this government. And if I don't trust them for the medicine or the advice they give me, how could I trust them for my food or my water or anything else? And so you have this returning to the soil movement that is going across this nation. And it's a beautiful thing.
No, that's the truth. I'll be watching some of the gardens and I'll be seeing that cabbage and all them fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. And man, I say, oh my God, I can just know that it's a difference in the way it tastes and
It's
everything. And for
so
you to watch it grow from no experience hardly at all to now 5 years, and now here you are just how many acres you have?
I only have 1 acre. Now, I do have an acre or two that I've been loaned in my area, and I am claiming that Ben Affleck will give me some acres on the back of my garden or my farm where he is stationed as well as his island. But I've been saying for years that people will give me acres, and when I said it, people have given me literally an acre or two of their land to grow whatever I want to on in my area, and also offered me some in other areas. So it is definitely more than 1 acre, but what I grow on currently, where I do my learning farm at my plant nursery in Midway, Georgia, it is 1.11 acres. Definitely. You can grow a lot of food on 1 acre. You can actually turn over $10,000 a month on 1 acre.
Goodness Lord, just growing now. Woo-wee. I already know it. See, that's I heard you.
I said
Like,
what I said. I have a Grow Influencers that happens every Sunday. At this point, I got 2 farmers who have been following me for we've been doing this for 36 weeks as of this Sunday. And 2 of those farmers have been hitting 5-figure numbers under my guidance in Louisiana. They are certified organic and a new one starting. We have had 16 businesses start, new web pages, new branding, and all.
damn.
It is money out here, y'all. People, this
Hey,
is a recession proof business. It is empowerment and knowing. If you don't trust nothing else, you got to trust what you grow. You got to have that piece of knowledge and knowing that you are doing something. But money literally grows on trees. If you think about everything that shut down during COVID and what was stayed open, the grocery stores, that all starts and ends with the earth. The weed stores, cannabis, depending on your state, that starts and ends with the earth. Alcohol, that's potatoes, wheat, barley, yada, yada, yada. That ended and stopped with the earth. Everything that you need literally grows on trees. That plumbing that everybody was stressing on and buying toilet paper and acting up, that's something you don't really have to need to live. But you
Hmm.
need the rest of that stuff for real. That's definitely the recession proof stuff. Those other things were conveniences. And at this point, convenience is killing us.
yeah,
Damn. Shit.
true, dog.
Woo. Boy, you said about four. So let me move on to one of my next because when I just talked to you the other day, I heard you say, and I think I heard you say this a while ago, something about an ugly garden grows good food.
Ugly
So you
gardens
don't,
are beautiful food. It
yeah,
doesn't matter what it looks like. When I started, again, I was starting on a low dime. We were VA, we were retired, we were on a fixed income. So being in on 1 acre with 3,600 square foot home, electricity and everything else during COVID and all wasn't already to move. You know what I mean? We're in South Georgia, it's hot. And so I started with what I had. I know that BPA proof is definitely for anything that's under 5. So what did I do? I waited till Valentine's Day was over, Easter was over, and I got BPA buckets that were BPA free. That's food grade. They were on clearance after the holiday ended for 90% off. I grew in those 1-gallon Easter egg buckets. I threw in them baskets. I grew in those Valentine's holders and everything else I had. Ugly gardens still grow beautiful food. It might start off ugly, but when that food is there, baby, that's a beautiful sight.
See, I'm going to ask some. I need to cut this air conditioner off in here because it's too loud. So I'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere. Go ahead.
Now, what she was saying about the ugly garden producing good food is really true when you start to understand that certain plants, when planted next to each other, and they integrate and they actually help each other, and they feed the soil and they give other plants what they need. So, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all ever out there have ever heard of like jungle gardening, like you just throw seeds out.
Chaos gardening, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just go for it, man. You know, so certain plants help other plants, and they actually prevent weeds from growing and taking nutrients from plants. So it's actually she verified, dog.
It's most serious. And chaos gardening is one of my biggest things. I'll tell you quickly. I sell seeds, but I'm gonna tell you what I threw out there. I don't know what grew. I'm gonna show you once it harvests and the fruit show up. Because chaos gardening still matters, because my dog taught me chaos gardening again. He just chewed up them plants and threw them in the ground. And so when you think, oh, I need a degree, I need a green thumb, you do not. My dog was just doing it. When those apple trees and pear trees fall from the ground, from the fruit tree to the ground and make a new tree, it just fell down. There was no implementation. There was no plan. It just was what it was. It has a coding to live from one generation to the next. And it's the same thing for us. So I do a lot of chaos gardening for that reason. Monoculture is the main thing that has killed this environment and the world. In the same way that monoculture kidnapped us, it kidnapped all these plants for the biodiversity. And we went from market gardens to one thing. Oh, we're going to grow cotton. We're going to grow corn. We're going to grow this. And guess what? Just like with us, if we are all like mind, we cannot compete and we're going to drain all the resources. It is the same thing with your crops. More than anything, you then put an arrow on your crops because plants are looking for a certain scent, a certain texture, and a certain pheromone to pull up on it. You've given it a big old arrow for everything to grow up. So when you interplant, you're not taking too many of the same nutrients from the soil. You're also putting other things back in the soil. Just like me, you, and him are better together. It's the same thing with your soil. So companion planting is your best friend. And the ugly gardens are still going to grow beautiful fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell our viewers out there one more again about the money that they can be making by gardening, because that number right there, just give me some numbers.
You can even grow more than that on a quarter acre. You do not need a lot of land. Is the most bogus thing they told you and sold you on. And that just boils again down to thinking that you need a lot of land to grow a lot of food. You do not need a lot of land. You don't even need any land. You could grow and raise beds and all, but you can still turn 5,000 a month on a quarter acre if you're growing lettuce or something else and have impact. Every plant that you're growing needs a certain input. They need a certain root level. Your lettuce is a very shallow root. You can grow carrots right behind that. So on a quarter acre, you could have, so let's put it like this. Booker T. Watley is the founder of the CSA. He followed George Washington Carver and everything else. He's out of Tuskegee. He had all this historic things. His book is going for $500-$600 online right now. But Booker T. Watley taught us this because he saw the Black farmer losing his land. So prime example, you got 1 acre of land, and this is his rhetoric in 1985. And think about the 1984 and think about what you're costing now. He said you can grow 4,000 or 8,000 collard greens on 1 acre of land at 50 cents a collard green. Y'all think about what collard greens are going for now. You could grow 8,000 collard greens on there. At 50 cents a collard green, you would make $4,000 on an acre. And that's if you cut the head of the collard green off and then do cut and come where more leaves can come back. That was in 83. You know what a collard green is going for right now for a bushel, for a head? About $4 or $5. And they not even organic.
They not?
They not. Why do you think I watched them so long? Why they cutting this sand?
Got that white film all over him, dog.
Yeah, they got pesticides. Why they ain't got no holes on them? Not one bug that's
No
touched.
bugs won't.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, that's
Easily
crazy.
treated. So you're paying $5-6 for one head of collards when I just told you in 1 acre I can grow 8,000. So let's do $5 per 8,000 collard greens. That's $40,000 on 1 acre of land.
Mm, goodness. Ooh, yeah, man. That's something. I wasn't even looking at it like that right there. I got all this yard over here.
I was
Shit.
just about to say
Right.
that, man. Your backyard by itself, dog.
Your backyard by itself. And all you need is customers. And guess what? When you get those customers and you go to them college yourself, the way the elderly pull up, I'll be like, nah, I want you to taste them first. And the elderly don't play that game. They'll be like, nah, baby, I'm gonna pay you for them. And then they show back up at my farm and say, and y'all, again, it's 1 acre. And so we're clear where the collards are growing is not even a quarter an acre. And they come back and they give me more money and say, them the best colors I had since 1990. Them the best colors I had since, and you gotta remember,
And a lot.
90 is about when them GMOs start showing up. These are the best colors I had since the 80s. These elderly women show up and tell me they ain't had no colors like this. And they didn't have to clean them like they had with the others, and they had a peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely seen the ones you've been growing out there too. When you be showing, because like I say, I follow you and everything like that. So I'm just simply amazed. And you got numbers and things spinning around in my head right now. But
Yeah.
so, but
Yeah.
so what would you recommend somebody that's just getting ready to start out? What would be something for them to just test it to see what works for them? I know everybody's different, so go get you a bucket, a pool, or whatever. Just walk me through somebody to start in the simplest thing for them to see if it's kind of made for them.
Okay, so the first thing is if you're gonna start right now, you can do lettuce. But you can only do lettuce in Texas and anything below Texas. Excuse me, a zone 8 and below, which you will have to put in online your zone, which means you put in growing zone, USDA, and your zip code, right? It'll tell you
Mm,
what you are. But if you are zone 8 and below, you could grow lettuce right now. Lettuce takes less than 30 to 45 days to grow. You can grow it in a bowl in your windowsill. But once it gets too hot, there's a problem with that. And so any of those things are easy. If you just want to give you some confidence, though, regardless, and it's the summertime and it's hot, grow you some beans. And you ain't even got to go and buy no seeds for me or anybody else. Get you a bag of pintos beans from your cabinet and plant them in the ground the same way we did in 2nd and 3rd grade with paper towels and everything else, and let them grow. And they will be ready to harvest in about 45 to 50 days from the day you plant them. And watch those beans and the amount of confidence you'll get of, dang, one bean gave me 75 to 100 seeds, and go
mm,
from there. You can plant your sweet potato, same thing. You can plant the potato with the little branches that it has on it where we know it's poisonous because it's got a little green on it, and let them sit on your microwave and dry for so long. You can also plant your colored sweet potatoes. You ain't got to go out and buy nothing, y'all, but just plant it all shallowly. So like right at the soil, cover it just barely lightly and just wait for it to take off. It doesn't take a lot, but if you want to know how to grow things, I have a whole playlist. I have websites. I got YouTube tutorials. I'm on Instagram with 20,000 plus followers. I'm on TikTok with almost 100 and almost 200,000 followers. I am on YouTube with about 1,000 followers. I'm on Facebook with about 15,000 followers, depending on what page you're on, and so on and so forth. But there's a way. But more than that, if you follow me at Gardening Under Influence, in the same way you do Driving Under Influence, if you got a problem or a question, you message me on YouTube, I'm on TikTok or Instagram. And I promise I will respond to you. And we can go on Instagram. You can show me a video, and I'm happy to troubleshoot with you. Because at the end of the day, I want you to grow with what you got. And sometimes what you got may not be what you need, but there's a way to grow through everything. And the problem is we just are used to the grocery store version.
yeah.
So maybe the grocery store carrot is not going to give you what you want. And the most of the stuff at our grocery stores, we have to understand that we're used to and conditioned to seeing. They're not there because they're tasty or that they're flavorful. They're there because they got a long shelf life. They don't die as fast and they can ship well.
Exactly.
It's like all
Exactly.
the wrong things you want.
Yeah.
Ooh, my goodness. Yeah, and that is something. Guys, all the viewers out there, I'd just like to remind y'all that it's absolutely free to like, share, and subscribe.
And
So
please,
y'all make sure you check out, or she done gave out the websites, and the name is right up under there. So you guys look it up and check it out. But keep giving them that knowledge, daughter.
all my mommy's on here. Hey, mommy. Look, look at that
Okay.
support. Listen, they thought I was crazy when I started. They was like, you got a tree in your living room? You doing what? You outside? That's slave work. What the hell you doing over here? My family even thought I was crazy. But I'm like, if it was slave work, why did they hire other people to do it?
Yeah.
We need to understand that money legitimately grows on trees. And the person who controls your food controls you. And the person that controls your land controls you. That is basic knowledge.
Already. I tell you what, your mama told me a long time ago when I talked to her, she said, shh, shh, and you can't cuss on this. This was no talk, uncut and
Of
unedited.
course,
So
I'm
I'm just saying. So your mom told me a long time ago, she said, shit, baby, Erica can grow any damn thing. I say, shit, I've been watching her. I know damn well she can because I've been watching her. But you said something a while ago that wasn't in my notes also about the zone. Uh, the zone. So you look up online to see what you can grow
growing
in your.
zone you're in. And your growing zone doesn't detect more than when your frost starts and when your frost ends. But that is key on growing certain things because you would never want to start sweet potatoes in September and then know that they need 90 to 100 days and expect a good harvest when you're in Central Texas or Zone 8B and your frost is at the beginning of November, the middle of November. You need 100 days. That's only like 60. There's a potential, though, every now and again that you might look up. Don't get me wrong. One size doesn't fit all. Or that you have insulated or that you're not near water that would stop that frost from hitting you in the same way because you fed your plants. But overall, those standard basics matter. So if you're trying to grow an apple tree and say you're in Miami, it's not going to grow because they need so many chill hours. And chill hours mean anything below 45. They don't get enough chill hours because they rarely hit below 45 even in the winter, which is why they grow their tomatoes, peppers, and all in South Florida in the winter when we don't because it's too hot. And so it's the same thing. And so
You,
knowing your growing zone will not set you up for failure. It will help you be a better grower.
can you see this right here? This is representing the microphone.
Wait,
I
what?
just you see this? This
Oh,
representing the microphone. I dropped the damn mic. Girl, you putting it out there. I wasn't even expecting all of this right here, but just I should have from just watching you grow and watching your videos and stuff like that because your gardens, man, they're off the chain, you know. So I heard you say that people come to you, some of the elders, but do you attend any uh well not not flea market,
farmers market.
Farmers
farmers
market.
market? Yeah.
So I don't have to do a farmer's market. People come to me. I have a plant nursery. I'm licensed certified plant nursery, and I'm a licensed certified seed dealer through the state of Georgia. And so I have my own plant store and storefront sitting and situated between Interstate 95 and Highway 17. So I'm right off 95, 2 miles in from right below Savannah. So people can pull up. I got Black owners and seed farmers who haven't been getting the best quality seeds from others who pull up and all. But at the same time, wait, I'm sorry. Y'all know I got ADHD and autism. What was the question? Listen.
That's okay. You to answer because I had something else I was fixing to go on and ask, but seeds. So if someone's wanting to purchase seeds from you, because I saw a video of a guy saying that he had just brought these seeds from you
Yep.
and he was showing them and going on and stuff like that. So someone want to order some seeds from you. How do they go about doing that?
They go to plantandheal.com. That's plantandheal.com. Like I said, like Netflix and chill. Because baby, when you with me, you're gonna plant something, you're gonna heal something. whether it's your grounding, you healing your body, you healing your mental by active meditation and playing it, or you're going outside and you're getting a little bit extra vitamin D and exercising and lubricating some extra muscles. So you're going to plant something, you're going to heal something. That's plantandheal.com. We specialize in small space growing and quick harvest. None of our stuff is GMO, but so we're clear, you cannot get GMO at any seed store you go to. You need a contract for that. So if you're not a big business farmer who signed the contract with them, that's why we all have to label our stuff GMO, but nothing you get is GMO. But for the people who are concerned about GMO, your seedless watermelon are not GMO. That cornbread you get from GC is, that canola you fry your stuff is, all of those things are GMO. But you're definitely not getting GMO from that seedless watermelon.
I'm gonna drop the damn mic again.
And you know her
Seb, what you got?
You know her website good, dog, because everything's sold out. I done been on that website like 8
Somebody
times,
just
dog.
inboxed me, was like, when are you getting a re-up? Like,
Bro, I've been ready. I'm trying to get me a banana tree. I don't even know if I can grow that shit in Texas. I want to ask you.
Can. Listen, I got banana trees that you can grow from a small space, that you can grow the 6 feet in a container in your house. But I also got banana trees called Cape. It's called a Converte Kohal. And that one right there takes less than 6 months from the time you put it in the ground, even as zone B. In 4 months, it starts fruiting. You're going to have your fruit before the frost comes.
See, I'm ready, man. I've been on that website. I just been waiting, dog. I've been pretty much sleeping on the website, just waiting to see when the stuff's not sold out.
Listen, you know how many shopping carts I see on my website with like $1,000 in it right now. Like,
ready, bro.
Money grow on trees.
Yes, yeah. Hey, cuz what I told Seven about you coming on, I say, Seven, you want to be on? He said, hell yeah, I want to be on.
I was defending you. I saw you recently, and I was like, hold up, bro, you giving wrong information. You're not gonna do that on my cousin's thing. He ain't got to do that attack. What you just said is totally invalid. He's right. Those dogs have innate sensibility. That's not going to work over here because there are certain things that happen. Well, water would evaporate. No, those chemicals will evaporate. That fluoride not will evaporate. It's the same thing for our plants, y'all.
All right, then that's what I'm talking about. So my fiance is watching right now, and you had a video, and I'm gonna say this word, and she probably run. You had a gecko that you were showing. She is terrified of geckos. And you had one in the garden or whatever. If she was to see that shit, she would probably take off like a jet heading 90 miles the other way.
I used to run too. That's okay. I want you to know as you go out there, it's desensitizing. In the same way that when you heard Columbine, you used to act a whole different way than when you heard Parkland shooting. Right? You don't flinch as much when you hear a shooting in a theater. It's the same thing being out in that garden, sadly. That's a sad desensitization. But as you get out there, you realize they don't give a damn about me. And they actually doing the Lord's work. They're keeping the insects out. They're keeping the pest pressure down. And they're helping me. They don't care about me. They don't want to bite me or anything else. They want the grasshopper, the cricket, the leaf mites. And so they're actually...
Right. Well, I'll tell you what they used to tell us as a guy. You know, when they told us as a guy, them things that run up your leg and grab a hold of them dang on oysters up under there. And,
they do not care. But I don't know about where y'all at. But they used to say that, and they told me that dragonflies would spit and pee in your eyes and burn them and all. And when I tell you the dragonflies is the biggest goons in my garden, I didn't see them even take out a hummingbird.
The dragonfly, damn.
Dragonflies are the army of your garden. They don't care about you. None of those bugs were innately trained in a way that we be like, what am I going to do when I grow up? They already know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do so much that their mamas have already died before they even show up. And they still know what they're supposed to do. Those bees, many of our bees live for less than 4 weeks. They will go ahead, have so many babies, lay them down, put them in their own little apartment with a grasshopper or something else so they got something to eat on for the next 9 months and die. And that bee still shows up without nobody showing it what to do and knows what to do.
That's what I'm talking about. Gardening made easy. And you make it look easy.
Let's demystify it. Because gardening is not hard, y'all.
Right.
It's
I
not.
heard that. So what are your thoughts on like here in Temple on the north, let's see, southwest, southeast of Temple. They have this big greenhouse center. What are your thoughts on growing inside of a greenhouse? Is it still organic? Is it
Greenhouses are organic. They're super organic. They're just a controlled environment.
Mhm.
Kind of like you getting certain kids that you want for sports and you keeping them in this program for this many years without any outside factors. Listen, you're going to sign on with me. I'm going to coach you. You can't have no outside coaches. And parents, you're going to sit in the stadium in the stands. And when I'm coaching them, you don't say nothing else. That's the same thing with the greenhouse. It is a consistency. It is a level of a controlled environment that produces what you need without any outside factors that you got to train off. That is all a greenhouse is. It's definitely growing organic, depending on what components they are using. But you don't have to worry about the ice storms or syntax or anything else like that when it goes with it. I'd be more concerned when you hear the hydroponic growers and gardeners. Like right now, we got Kia plant coming in so many acres, but then we got 100 acres of hydroponic farms showing up that's going to grow all the vegetables for the Southeast. Well, what are the inputs? What are you using for the piping? Is it plastic? Is it stainless steel? Those are questions I need to know. Because yeah, them strawberries gonna be just as pretty as before, and nobody at the grocery store asked. But somehow you got all these questions from me at my farm. But that's that same thing. Like, what is your inputs? Those are more concerning to me than something in the greenhouse.
all right? And the lights in the greenhouse still doesn't matter because I've seen they have the different lights. That's
It doesn't matter because most greenhouses are also going to get green sun. But just like us, everything needs a rest. Some things just might need more sun than we can have in this area. So say you like a certain onion, it might be a long day onion. Now, granted, Seattle, Washington, and Houston, Texas could be, in Savannah, Georgia, could be all zone 8Bs. But in Seattle, Washington, is anybody who's gone up there as a tester, you go in the summer, the sun comes up at 4 a.m. and it don't set till 11. That's not the same sun that you get in Texas.
right.
It's not the same sun, and this one plant needs that long day sun. Then that greenhouse supplements the sun for it.
All right. Seven, you got anything? I said, I don't want to leave you out, baby. You in it. So what
And
you
I
got?
want to know what's her thoughts on electroculture.
Electroculture, I've been sitting on the peer review journals. I saw some great results. I've seen some of my own backyard growers get some great results. It is something that makes sense because magnetism and even with us. So black people are really quick on what you doing outside barefoot without no shoes on.
That grounding. You need that
But
grounding.
you're grounding. It's connection. But we're not. We're disconditioned from that. It's the same thing with your soil kind of thing. So that electroculture is something that already is innate in the soil. So to concentrate it has shown beautiful results. I haven't necessarily led any copper in my gardens yet, but I'm thinking about it this year because I've read enough peer-reviewed journals that makes me see that it's not a disservice to me. But am I sold on it? I'm gonna have to see it for myself because again, one size don't fit all.
True.
Just like parenting.
All right, man. I'm gonna be out of mics. I keep dropping these mics, but I'm gonna ask you this right here too. So I heard you say earlier that like you don't really have to plant the seed, but just kind of like right around the top. So if I have this one seed and I didn't planted it dang near a foot down, I mean, is there 2 4 that you can plant the seed?
So a seed should only be planted twice as deep as the size of the seed, right?
What?
So what you could put a watermelon or a squash, which is a cucurbit, is not the same amount as you could do a brassica, which we would know as a mustard seed. It's such a smaller seed. So your squash and your pumpkin and all might be this size, but your brassica is lower than like the back of an earring. And so with that, it might be that size. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wouldn't even be that size right there. And so you should only plant it at the most twice as deep as the size of the seed.
I would have never thought nothing like that. I would have thought I had to go about 12 inches down or a foot down.
And that's why people think that they have to grow a certain way. And then they're like, well, I planted all these seeds, nothing grew. Well, that's why I didn't grow.
That's crazy. I would have never thought that. Mm. Well, what about for I know you said teaching or something like that, but what about for educating some of the youth? Have any of the kids ever came out to your garden and center and everything?
Oh, they come all the time, baby. That's my favorite thing to do. The kids. So I don't just teach at the Learning Garden in Midway, which is what we call it, the Learning Garden. So I teach you there how to grow with what you got. So I got cinder blocks. If you want to do a cinder block raised bed on top of your soil with clay, I got swimming pools, big swimming pools, some with the bottom cut out, some without. I got wood. I got a mound of soil. I'm even growing out a bag of soil because, baby, at the end of the day, like I said, you got to grow with what you got. But kids come, and the eagerness really started off with my own backyard garden. And they call me Farmer E or Miss E or Aunt E at this moment. Once they get there like 2 or 3 times, they go from Miss Erica to Miss E to Aunt E. But they plant all kinds of things. The joy and the excitement of a kid to see what carrot tops look like or turnip greens or anything else. Like I will always say, even for myself, yeah, I planted all this stuff. And then I got the turnip greens. And I was like, oh, I want some turnip greens. What's the seed? And I was already planting turnips. And to realize that turnips is the damn tops of seeds of turnips. The turnip greens is just the tops of the turnips. Kale greens is just the tops of the leaves. The same kale you was already eating. I felt bamboozled. I was so upset. And so with the kids, it's just amazing to see them when they get to see what food looks like in its original state. Grow it and plant seeds, whether it's chaos or they just take some and plant them somewhere. I'll just be excited as them when they grow up. So yeah.
Outstanding. Let me ask you this here. I bet you don't know the answer to this right here. Does money go on trees?
Money grow on trees, Papa.
They better learn it. If they ain't learned about what you
They better learn. Money grows on trees. Everything you need starts and ends with the earth. I don't care if it's the metal for your vehicles that started off with the rocks below your fruit trees. Everything in this world that you need ends and starts with the trees. There's no way to create anything else. And land is finite. So if you're sleeping on your quarter acre, your 1 acre, your 100 acres, you're wilding. Do not let temporary situations when your ancestors and grandparents all pass away make you make permanent decisions where you do not have that land. Because you go back 4 or 5 years later or right now during COVID and kick yourself in the butt. You sold that ugly houses, grow beautiful. Ugly, we buy ugly houses for $10,000. And now they're selling that damn same block without a house on it for $150,000. Money grows on trees.
they gonna learn. So tell me this right here then. So I got this big backyard. Grass is kind of dead now. So how can I start? So I just dig me out a section and remove the grass and what I mean, I know you said I have to go look up zone 8 to see what I can grow, but walk me through my start process. I have this grass, the big ass backyard, grass right here is dead. So what can I do?
Okay, so it all depends. First, if you have the money for it, I would recommend a soil sample. You get your soil sample from the university or whatever you're with. That is a land grant university. The same way they cleared out the Native Americans to teach the Europeans how to grow when we were skilled. You can go to that same university and get a test to tell you what your inputs are and what they not. And from there, then you can decide what to grow. But if you don't want to go through that step, then what you want to do is get you some cardboard or plastic, right? You want to kill the the grass in that area. You can take your Amazon boxes or anything else, lay them out, and let them burn off that soil as you water it and suppress what it is, because it's not going to get no sunlight with the cardboard on it. You can put some extra cardboard on it, extra soil on top. That cardboard will break down into nutrients and benefits, because you got to know that, again, it started with what? A tree. And so from there, you can plant whatever you want on top of it. That's going to suppress a majority of your seeds and let you start. And if you start with that level playing field, then you can grow anything you want, because that commercial soil has everything that you need to start off your garden.
All right. Seven, you got anything right there, brother?
Man, I know what she's saying is true because I just when I was in Chicago and I started my like in my garden inside of my apartment, and I was living on the 16th floor. I literally just went outside into a vacant lot and with a shovel and got a bag of dirt, and I went and I started growing pomegranates in my front
Yeah,
room, and I started growing jackfruits.
yeah,
Mm,
The
I
dirt is
heard that.
good, man.
yeah.
That's what's up.
Because it's been resting. And it's just a matter though of understanding what your soul has. Because just like yourself, when we be like, oh, we big boned it. No, nobody got big bones. If you do the x-ray, all them bones is the same damn size, okay? But for survival reasons, we are set up to a certain size, regardless of who we are, a certain nose, a certain eye, and all for what our innate survival was for that area. Same thing with your soil. So when you do a soil sample, though, you benefit yourself on knowing what components are already in the soil. Because if it doesn't have every component it gets, and that soil has forever chemicals like caladium or anything of that nature, then if it doesn't have what it needs, once it takes up that nitrogen, that phosphorus, those other micronutrients, and it still has space for it because it's not enough, then it could potentially take up that mercury, that aluminum, that caladium. And you don't want that if you can avoid it.
Right. All right. Well, I just have just a couple more. But one of the ones I have, because you knocked out, I mean, everything I've had, shit, like you've been doing this for about 30 years. But but what I like to kind of know, what is like your overall goal, that you see yourself, what's your overall goal with Erica Plants?
By 2026, I'll be in Target on the Black History Month, if not nationwide, teaching you and having pots, seeds, and everything else. In addition to that, curriculum is coming, school books are coming, homeschool curriculum is coming. It will be a platform coming shortly also, and we will accept SNAP nationwide because growing good organic food should not be a privilege.
Mm,
Good quality food should never be a privilege. And if you think about fresh markets and Whole Foods up until Amazon bought them, you could not go in there with SNAP or EBT.
Nah.
You can't
right.
go to a CSA and buy your food and produce because you need to pay for it weekly if you got SNAP, and you can't pay for it until it comes. But if you look at any CSA, which is community supported agriculture, they'll say, well, we're going to feed you for the next 13 weeks. We need $700 up front by each one of y'all, and we'll give you this much food if it produces. You can't do that. Those are privileges. Good quality food, though, food desert should not be a privilege. At this
Exactly.
point,
All
it is
right.
a food apartheid. It's not even a food desert no more. Many of those that I've saw while teaching for UGA and other places, those were intentional deficits for Black communities, brown communities, communities of women, and so on and so forth of color to disempower them. And good organic food and good quality food should never be a privilege.
You got me hyped up. I want to grow some shit because I'm telling you, watching you, I've been wanting to watch, but I'm gonna read this comment Miss Sharita Felix then put up here. How can I grow something and not be in fear of a gecko? Can I grow something inside?
You can grow tons of stuff inside if you got a good quality light, and all you need is a $4 light. If you go to my website, if you go to Gardening Under Influence on TikTok or anything else, or type in the hashtag gardening for the low on TikTok or Instagram, you will see tons of different resorts for me. You can grow in your window, you can grow in your house. Again, it's a privilege. Soil real estate and having the ability to go outside is a privilege. You might work from home and not have all that. I know people growing fruit trees, pineapples, oranges, and lemons and all in Gatlinburg, Tennessee into winter in their houses. Never taking it outside because those are all tropical fruit. So where there's a will, there's a way. If you got a closet, you got a way. If you got a good way.
Ah,
You hear me on the live.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
we
Um,
almost done.
that's my teenage adult son. But at the same time, good organic food should never be a privilege, period. And so you can grow even indoors. You can grow lettuce in a windowsill. I have micro tomatoes that you can grow in a windowsill. I have peppers and all. They are 40 days from transplant. There's tons that you can do. You just need a windowsill or good lighting, a small container, and some wind to strengthen that plant. That's all. And that could be a fan.
All right, all right. Well, you knocked out everything that I had. What I like to do now is I'm gonna start with Seven. Let him kind of say a few little closing marks, and then I'm gonna get you to say a little bit of something.
Can y'all hear
And
me?
yeah, we hear you.
Jaden, dude, you heard me.
So we gonna get Seven to go and give out some closing marks, and then we gonna come back to you. Yeah, we heard you holler at Jade just did. You didn't mute it. Did you leave? I think she may have left, but go ahead, Seb. What you got closing out? I think she.
Man, I want to say, man, it's always an honor to be on here, man. It's an honor to actually, if I'm wrong, I love to have somebody call me out. So it's always a learning process, and she knows her shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just want to say that even back in Chicago, I used to tell people that no matter what type of space you have, that you can always start planning something to be more independent from the system. And the people will argue with me a lot. And I'm just happy that she got on here and she was just expressing the fact that as long as you have a windowsill, man, it doesn't matter. You can grow wherever. You know what I'm saying? The sunlight gets through. You got some wind, you know what I mean? Some water, something, you know what I mean? Good dirt. It's just important for the people to understand how to become more independent. And it's very important for the people to start to understand that a lot of the fruits and stuff that we eat are out of seasons. You know what I'm saying? We need to start eating more in season. And when you grow your fruit or whatever type of plants you're taking that's in your area, they're more in tune to the stuff that's going on in the area. You know what I'm saying? So you need to really be more aware of that type of stuff and just be independent, because this system doesn't care about you, man. And we're out here suffering, and it's good to have it not only for yourself but for your neighbors and community.
Most definitely.
All right, that's it. All right, Miss Erica Plants, what you got for the people before we get out of here?
Listen, money don't grow on trees. You can make some money at your house. It don't take a lot to do that. You can teach others and empower. And for no other reason, for life skills that you need to understand, that you need to teach your grandchildren and your children. Because even in our lifetime, if this is not the situation, we need to understand that the grocery store did not exist before 1940. And who's to say it will be here in 2040? And who's to say you would trust it in 2040? But if everything keeps going like it's going, and if for no other reason, then you can't keep going to no other country and knocking over their Legos and not thinking they're going to come over here and knock over your Legos. You need to have these. These are life skills, just like balancing your checkbook, saving your money, and being wise, learning how to grow food and starting fires and all those kind of things. It needs to be not a fad, not seen as slavery, but a life skill. And you need to be teaching your kids.
Facts.
That's outstanding, and I'm really hoping that people out there, the viewers out there, share this and let them know that you can start with something so small, and the numbers that you just given out to start making some money off the land and off the backyard that you have and off the windowsill. And you already told Seven here about how he was interested in some bananas, and you got all of the seeds and you have a lot of knowledge, and let them know how they can find you one more time.
You can find me at Gardening Under Influence, like driving under influence, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also find me at plantandheal.com, where we're going to plant something, we're going to heal something. That is where we sell edibles, fruit trees, plant starts, seeds, and the likes. And we're always here to help you grow with what you got.
Outstanding. Y'all go get that money, because I'm telling you, I'm pumped up. I'm ready to try something. I'm gonna have to check it out and see, because I'll be watching you. I'm telling y'all go and you follow her. You have any questions, reach out to her. Seven, I know you already done checked it out and looking to see that she out of stock on some things, and stuff like that. But I mean, the garden and what she have, and so how far you've came. So I mean, I wish you much success in everything that you have going for you. And just like to remind my viewers out there that it's absolutely free to like, share, and subscribe. Absolutely. You can subscribe to any one of our channels, and any question that you may have, leave us some comments and we'll definitely get back with you. But I want to thank both of you for coming on, because I appreciate you to the fullest. I was watching you.
Cousin, I'm gonna need that family tree, okay? Because I'm looking down that ancestry, And I heard you and Bruce and figured out some things and trying to go over there and get some land, okay, from the ancestors, okay. So I'm gonna need that fruit tree so I can go see what we can see. Look,
Already.
y'all have a good one. Thank you for
All right,
having me.
thank you too, and everybody, all my guests and all my viewers. Thanks for watching Wizzo Talk. We'll holler at you.
Bye, y'all.